Paul, shall we start with the transfer window?
Yeah.
How satisfied or not are you with the deals that you've done?
Yeah, I am really satisfied, to be honest. We went into the window wanting to keep our best players. I think I alluded to the fact I wanted to strengthen the front line and keep the best players at the club. And what were we, 4 points off top, so it's not like we're in a relegation fight. So I thought if we could keep the group together, that would be, firstly imperative. We've been trying for weeks and months to convince Cash and Birdie to stay. Obviously, and it became apparent speaking to Birdie, Max's ledge, but speaking to him on numerous occasions with his representatives that this was going to be his last season. It wasn't a financial thing, anything like that. He just wanted a different challenge, and I get that. You don't want to. There's not many players who spend their whole career at one club, so that became really apparent, and in consequence to that, we ended up selling him to Bristol City for the money we wanted. We might not have got that in the summer, and plus we loaned him back, so we haven't lost. So that's a win-win, and he's been so professional throughout this season, even though he possibly knew his future was somewhere else. So that was one thing that I was really pleased on, that we managed to tick all them boxes. There's no point letting his contract run out and get nothing, or lose him to Scotland or something like that. So we have to try and make good decisions all the time, and then obviously to convince Cash to stay is credit to everyone at the football club, so that's good, so that's great news as well. So that was important. We wanted to strengthen the front line. We were always after Corey. I was after him in the summer, and then he done his best to score loads of goals and that for Charlton, which helped my cause no end, and other clubs obviously around him. So to get Corey in the building was a massive coup, and for us. And it took a lot of work as well, so we got him in early, which was good. And as I've been saying as well, I wanted some meat in the middle of the pitch. Meat's not really a fair word, is it? But a bit of aggression, really, and a bit of pace, because I've said it on some games, we look a little bit too open. And Abu was a player I tried to sign before. I'd watched him numerous occasions and watched him this year, and spoke to Cardiff and the player and that before we went to African nations, so that was always something I had lined up, so that was good. So we had most of our ducks in a row for that, really. And then it was just about trying to strengthen that front line. Look, I didn't want to go into the next, we've got virtually, when I tell you my squad for tomorrow is really good, but we've got virtually all our players back. We're probably 3 weeks away from Wash or Waggy or both. Excuse me. And I didn't really want to go into these next 3 games or potentially the rest of the season without something else up top. So that was the only disappointment, but our actual planning for it and how it worked out, and obviously we can't say everything that goes on, but as you can see, all the transfers this transfer window, I would say 95% were done in the last 2 days, because clubs, we spoke to 2 Premier League clubs about their young strikers, of which both chose us as their first choice, of which both clubs were saying, yeah, we can do this, financially it wasn't an issue, or the player, it was more about the fact if they could get one in themselves. They didn't get one in, so they couldn't release. And then I had a championship striker that I really liked, who I fell in love's a bit extreme, but I felt would have definitely improved us in many capacities. The lad wanted to come, the owner wanted him to come, the head of recruitment wanted to come, the head of football wanted to come, and everything was in place. And then in the 10th hour, the manager pulled it, decided that he wanted to keep him at the club. And unfortunately, that is always the problem with this window. And when you deal with loans, you always, once the fee's agreed, you're in, aren't you? But when it's a loan, it is more complicated, and I have no issue with the manager pulling it, because if I felt it was right to pull Birdie's in the last hour or someone else's, I would have. So all in all, I thought the window went well, but you always leave a window thinking, always, every club will. I just wish we could have got a striker, but the ones we went for were the right ones for us. And I know, 2 years ago, give or take a day, it was when, people were marching because this club was going down. We're not going to make decisions with a gun to our head about, you have to do this, you have to do that. We have to make good fiscal decisions and good decisions for the club. And we did everything we could to improve the squad, and I'm really happy with the squad. I'll bounce into that meeting in 20 minutes, buzzing that all my children have stayed, and we've added 2 bits of quality. So I'm really happy on that.
Just to pick up on a couple of specifics from in there, Aaron Cashin first had some distractions in the last transfer window. How pleased are you that it sort of swung round and he has now signed this new contract with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really difficult for Cash, and it's obviously been really difficult for me to speak openly. And after I speak openly, this might get edited significantly. So,
We don't do that to you.
okay, thanks. I'm just thinking of poor people who have to listen. Look, it's been going for a long time now. To have a Premier League club come for you is something else, and I understand that. And I have said this to him: if he was my son, it would be, I would be very excited for him. So it has been, we did turn down very good offers for Cash. Obviously we wanted to keep Cash. You always want to keep your best players, but it's very difficult when big clubs come calling. I did think it affected him at the start of the season. Then I thought he got himself back and he's been brilliant. He's been one of our, him and Nels, I think, are probably our best two players so far this season. They've both been really consistent. So, and then as always, just as, all managers will tell you this probably, but the nicest time to be a manager is October, November and February and March because the windows have shut and the next one's too far away, so the players just have to get on with it. And then when November starts to kick, late November, then it starts again. Then the same skeletons come out of the closet, they come back, offer more deal for the player, more money for the club, and then it all starts again. And it's quite difficult for the player at times to just focus on football. He's a human being, he's not a robot. And it's very tempting what some clubs can offer players, I understand that. So the fact that we've convinced, Cash and his advisor and Cash's family, in fairness, they have a massive part to play in his decisions, but the deal is very handsome, is probably the nicest way to put it. And it does reward him for how good he's been. However, that doesn't also mean that he's here for the next 4 years, because every window you have the next challenge. Just because Cash is on a better deal, it doesn't mean that someone won't come in with a car full of gold and try and tempt him away again. And I understand that, but at the moment he's been rewarded for what he's done and what he's doing, and gives us more security. He signed like a 23-year contract, so potentially he could be here for a long period of time. So that's great news, and I'm really pleased for him as well, because you're only ever one tackle away from your career taking a different path. So the way he's behaved over this period of time as well has been amazing. I've spoke to many players in my 7-year tenure of this enjoyable job, and the way he took bad news was pretty damn impressive. So, and I've said this to him, if he was my son, I'd be really proud of the way he's conducted himself during a difficult time. So he deserves a lot of credit from the fans when he runs out on Saturday.
You brought in Ibu Adams on Wednesday, who seems to be just a wonderful human being off the pitch and a slightly different animal on it. Is that what you were looking for?
Yeah, I mean, I always like good people, as you well know. I watched his interview with you, I think, where he just kept smiling, which made my soul smile a little bit. I think it's nice when people are generally happy. So I really like him. I spoke to Kane. Obviously, he was unbelievable in that Forest Green side, hence why I tried to sign him, and I got outbid by Cardiff. So I've always kept an eye on him. I know his game time wasn't where it wanted to be. Spoke to his agent, courted his agent a little bit, and I just wanted someone who could get around the pitch, who can put a foot in, who can play, by the way. I'm not saying it like that, but we have some really good ball players, and and I can critique all the players at this football club. They've all got faults. If they didn't, they'd all be at Man City or Liverpool. So they've all got faults. So, and the thing that I think I could criticise our team for is sometimes when, certain games we've played in, when you really have to roll your sleeves up, we probably haven't matched the intensity of the opposition, really. So I wanted someone in midfield who could do that. He can play as a 6 or an 8. And he's just a brilliant addition to the group. And sometimes you bring players in and they just slide to the back of the room and they're like, take a bit of time to settle in. And when I walked into the team meeting yesterday, he was sitting in the middle row, middle seat. I said, "Have the lads made you welcome?" We went sort of, Gaffer, and everyone started laughing. So straight away he sort of fitted in, and they're the players that you want. They're the players you want to hang around with. I'm on a bus with them for 4 hours today, sit in a hotel with them, see them in the hotel tomorrow. You want players that want to play for the football club, but just good people, and I think good people bring success.
How's the squad looking for Saturday?
Yeah, pretty amazing to be fair. I'm absolutely cock a hoop. It's the strongest bench I've ever seen in League One soccer, which is great considering they're sitting behind me and not in front of me. But no, good. We've got all of them back really. So Callum Elder's back, Kane had a bit of an issue, Ryan's back. So yeah, it's the strongest looking squad I think we've put out in many a week.
Will you be happy to get back to the football?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I've told you everything that's gone on, and on and off the record. So you sort of forget, or you don't forget, you've still got your day job. So we've still got to try and prepare the team for Charlton. All this other stuff is just like, keep Sky going, doesn't it? So just get back to looking after the lads. And I like this time now because you literally are, look, if you're not happy, it's fine. You can leave in 3 months. Absolutely fine. If you are happy and you want to achieve something, we've tried to bring in 2 excellent players like Corey and Ibu to come and help and try and create unbelievable memories for people. I have a letter a week of some Derby fan who isn't well, or the horrendous things I get, and like you're thinking, look, you can make someone's life, like someone's in their last months of their life by having a promotion season would be class. So the lads are right up for it, and as always, isn't going to be smooth sailing, but we've put ourselves in a good position to compete, and that's all we can do.